Hey everybody, welcome to math. Today what we're going to do is we are going to learn how to multiply by 3. We did zeros and ones and twos this week so far, so we're going to move on to threes. We're going to start with a little lesson, and then you'll have a couple practice activities, and you'll wrap it up with a quick exit ticket. So your materials that you're going to need for today are, you're going to need your math notebook and a pencil, something to write with and on for practice problems, and a positive attitude. So go ahead and pause the video and go get those materials. Okay, welcome back. Like I said, our goal today is to multiply by 3, and you're going to know you're successful when you get 80% or higher on the practices. Okay, so to start, we're just going to do a couple warm-up problems and see how we're doing with multiplication. We're going to start by trying to solve this problem. 4 times 2. So on your whiteboard or your scrap sheet of paper, whatever you're using, you're going to try and solve 4 times 2, remembering what we learned yesterday when we talked about multiplying by 2's. Pause the video if you need more time. Alright, so there's a bunch of different strategies that we know to do this. One way that we learned yesterday was if you're multiplying by 2's, all you have to do is double the number that you're multiplying by. So since you're multiplying by 4, all you're doing is adding 4 plus 4, which would equal 8. So if you got 8, great job. If you didn't get 8, try and see where you made your mistake. Go ahead and erase that, and we're going to try another one now. Let's try 11 times 2. 11 times 2. Sorry, my multiplication sign got a little mixed up there. Got this new board, but every time I hit a button it erases the stuff. Just got to get used to it. So go ahead and pause the video and solve this problem. Welcome back. So like I said, there's a bunch of different ways to solve this, but what we learned yesterday is that when you're multiplying by 2, all you have to do is double the number that you're multiplying by. So you're just going to double 11. 11 plus 11 plus 11 equals 22. So did you get 22? If you did, awesome sauce. If not, make sure you see where you made your mistake at. And did you add up wrong? Did you just forget to carry the 1? Did you totally not double the 11? Just try and see where you made your mistake if you did not get it right, so you can fix it for next time. Okay, now we're going to move on to practicing to warming up with some word problems. Don't get scared about word problems. It's just like listening to a story and trying to figure out what's going on there. Alright, so pet story problems. It says work sample, but we're not going to worry about that. It says write an expression to represent each problem and solve each. So an expression is just a multiplication sentence, or any kind of math sentence. Show your thinking with words, pictures, and numbers, and label your answers with the correct units. Number 1. Isabel bought dog collars for some of the dogs at the Humane Society. She bought 8 collars. Each collar cost $3. How much did the collars cost in all? So we read it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to figure out what to do with this information. So we know that Isabel bought 8 collars. So she bought 8 collars. And we know that each collar costs $3 each. For $3. She bought 8 collars for $3. I want you to think, how would you solve this? How would you solve this? You could actually draw a picture. So one way to do it would be to draw a picture of 8 collars and label them each $3 and add them up. So repeated addition. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And label them each $3. So you'd have to add up all those 3's. Another way to do it would just be to multiply 8 times 3. You can make an array. However you want to solve it, I want you to pause the video and see if you can figure out what is 8 times 3. Welcome back. Do you actually have an answer? I hope so. Did you get the answer of $24? If you did, you're absolutely correct. If you got like 22 or 23 or 25, it just means you probably added up wrong. Not a big deal, just make sure you notice where you made your mistake. So how much did the collars cost in all? They cost $24. It's a lot of money on dog collars, but I'm sure they appreciate it. go ahead and erase your work, or if you're on a piece of paper, just move on down. We're going to do another problem together. So I'm going to go ahead and read it, and then I'm going to give you some time to see if you can solve it, and then we'll go over the answer. So Leon works at the pet store. Today he's putting together bags of doggy treats. He put 6 treats in each bag. So far he has made 7 bags. How many doggy treats has Leon used so far? So we want to know how many doggy treats he's used. So if I were you, how I would start by solving this is by drawing 7 bags and then deciding how many treats are in each one and adding them up or multiplying. So I want you to pause the video and solve this problem. Alright, so he has 6 treats in a bag and he has 7 bags. So you could have drawn 7 bags. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you could have drawn 8 treats, 6 treats, not 8 treats, in each one. I'm just going to write the number 6 to save time. And then you'd have to add them all up. You could have done an array, a 6 by 7 array. You could have done 6 times 7 if you know what 6 times 7 is. But either way, the answer should be 42. So they have used 42 treats so far. Kind of making sense? This last question is going to be on your exit ticket today, so I'm not going to go over it right now. Now what we're going to do is we're going to erase what we have, and we're going to start going over multiplying by 3's. So as we go through our 3's facts, we know that 3 times 0 is what? 0. Great, because we learned earlier this week that when you're multiplying by 0, the answer is going to be 0. We know that 3 times 1 is going to be 3. We know that because we learned earlier this week when you multiply by 1, the answer is just whatever you're multiplying by. The next one's 3 times 2, and yesterday we learned that when you're multiplying by 2, you're just doubling the number you're multiplying by, so you're just thinking in your brain 3 plus 3, which would be 6. Now let's try 3 times 3. I want you to pause the video and see if you can solve that. 3 times 3. Push play when you're ready to go. Okay, so maybe you did 3 rows of 3 like this, and you skip counting them up. 3, 6, 9. Maybe you did 3 circles with 3 in them, but either way you should have got the answer of 9. 3 times 3 is 9. We're going to do one more, and then I'm going to show you a trick to this if you haven't caught on already. 3 times 4. I want you to pause the video and see if you can figure out what is 3 times 4 using any strategy that we know so far. Alright, welcome back. Hopefully you actually have an answer. The more work you actually do while watching these videos, the easier math is going to be for you. So we have 3 times 4. 3 groups of 4, 3 rows of 4. 3 times 4, 1, 2, 3, and there's 4 in each row. Skip count them up. We have 4, 8, 12. 3 times 4 is 12. Alright, ready to learn a trick for 3's? Alright, even if you're not, you're going to learn it anyways. Ha ha ha. We're not going to do 3 times 5 because I'm going to teach you a different strategy for 3 times 5 eventually. And you can use any strategy. 3 times 5 equals 15. We're going to learn about how to skip count that. We're going to do 3 times 6. So just watch this one and I'm going to show you the strategy. So when you're multiplying by 3's, the rule that you can use is it's a double. Oops, I lost my page. It is a double plus 1 more. A double plus 1 more. So basically what you're doing is you're taking 3 and you're breaking 3 down into a 2 and a 1. And now you have 2 multiplication equations. You have 2 times 6 plus 1 times 6. Well, you know how to do both of those. 2 times 6 we should know off the top of our head. 6 plus 6 is 12. Plus 1 more 6, because 1 times 6 is 6. You just have to count up from here. You have to just do your basic addition. It's going to equal 18. So it's just a double plus one more. So when you look at your 3's, you just double the number and then add one more of that number. So we doubled 6, which was 12, and then we just added one more 6 in. Might be a little bit confusing right now, but it'll get easier, I promise. Let's practice another one. Alright, so let's try 3 times 7. If we're going to use this double plus one more strategy, we're breaking 3 down into a 2 and a 1. So the first thing we want to do is double 7. What is 7 plus 7? Write it down. 14. Very good. Now we need to add one more 7 because we have 3 of them, not just 2 of them. So we have 14 plus 7. Now we just have to do standard old addition, and that's going to be 21. So 3 times 7 is 21. I know I'm going quick on the answers, but really I want you to see how to solve them more than I care about the answers at this point right now. Okay, let's go ahead and try another one. Erase. Alright, let's try 8 times 3, or 3 times 8, either way, same thing. Okay, so we need to double the number you're multiplying by, which is 8. And then add one more 8. I want you to see if you can pause the video and figure this out. Okay, welcome back. So if we double 8, 8 plus 8 is 16, and then we add one more 8 to it, which is going to equal 24. You guys are doing great. This is challenging stuff, but good job. Way to stick with it. Let's see how long we got with our video right now. Alright, we'll try one more, and then I'll let you guys practice. Let's do, so we have a double, pause. Alright, let's do 3 times 9. Times 9. So remember, you're going to double this one, double the number you're multiplying by, and then add that number one more time. Pause the video and see if you can figure it out. Well, hey, welcome back. Did you actually get an answer? Good job if you did. Kiss your brain, as Mrs. Pratt would say. So we need to double 9, which is 9 plus 9 equals 18, and then we need to add one more 9, and that is going to be 27. Did you get that? Ooh, my circle kind of cut off the 2, but you get what I'm trying to show you. 27. Awesome. I hope that's kind of making more sense. If this double plus one more strategy is not working for you, feel free to use any of the other strategies that we have learned so far. This double plus one more strategy, what it's going to allow you to eventually do is to do this in your head so that you don't have to write it out, and maybe you can save yourself a little bit of time on your math stuff. All right. You have 2 practices to do now. Please do them both. I will check. I always do. And then take your 1 question exit ticket, or maybe it's 2 questions. It's not very many questions. Exit ticket, and you're all set with math today. So practices and then exit ticket. Reach out with any questions. Talk to you later.